And there we are.
Oh, that's so weird. Hey, Lita, what's going on?
Welcome to the wonderful world of live.
Ooh, yeah, this is good. Yes, this is good. You know, it's funny. I had my, sorry if you hear my dog barking. He is very unhappy with me for not being with him right now. But I had my little Rode mic plugged in. I was going to have perfect audio. And with an iPhone, you can't have this plugged in and hear something with, oh, I could have done my Bluetooth, but I'm not going to do all that. All right. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is not studio quality, but I'll push through.
Says the podcaster, right?
Yeah, it's killing me. It's killing me.
Well, I am so excited to be having this conversation. Again, just to get started, as people are joining, this is all about starting a podcast. And one of the things that I like to do when I have strategy sessions with members of BCN, talking to people about their business, I try to take whatever things that they talk about being a challenge and create workshops and things around that. So one of the things that always comes up is about how to start a podcast. And of course, that can be very overwhelming, very scary, intimidating. And just to share a little background, so of course, this is Business Crossing Network, and we are a membership group that is all about helping businesses to be connected for success, right? And so for about almost 2 years, I had my own video series, and everyone kept saying, you need to make this a podcast. Like, it needs to be a podcast. But I was just like, I don't know. I'm so scared. So of course, I don't even know how. I think I just reached out to you because you were already doing this. And I was like, can you help me? Because I want to do this, but I'm very intimidated.
No, I don't remember as well. I know, well, here for the audience, I've known Lita since I was like 15. So that's a long time. So I don't remember why, but oh, you know what? Shelly had seen something. She saw your video and you guys had reconnected kind of. And so I was looking at your videos, and then I went to Apple or Spotify to look for the series because you had so many videos and didn't see it. And I was like, oh, so it's just a bit. And again, those are fine. Video podcasts are fine.
Yes.
But, you know, as we go through this discussion, you'll see that it's good to be wherever your audience is, whether it's visual, which is what I prefer, or it's audio. So that was, okay, there's the background. Back to you. There you go.
Well, and it's just so funny because, like you said, you know, it had been going well, but I was getting a lot of people requesting for it to be on the audio side. And so, you know, we got that going. And of course, Donnie, you, I just lost light, but we're going to keep going. We got that going, and everything was, you know, has been going really well with that. Like I said, it was initially very nerve-wracking, but now I kind of, well, I'm not going to say I'm a pro, but I definitely feel more comfortable. So I wanted to do this live discussion, and I know that many people may watch it on the playback. So if you do watch it on the playback and you have questions, still feel free to message me, to even leave it in the comments when you watch this, because we can just bring Donnie back to answer some of those questions if we don't get to it tonight. So
There you go.
But to also kind of further just say who this person is, I've been doing all the talking about me, but Donnie obviously has a podcast and is a podcast and content producer. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to have you on the, like I said, on the conversation. So let's kind of get into it. So as the theme of the conversation, so you want to start a podcast. So Donnie, what would you say? Someone comes to BCN and they're like, I really want to do this, but I'm just not even sure the first thing to do. What is the first thing a person should do, think about when it comes to starting a podcast?
I think the biggest thing for me when I'm talking to people and thinking back to when I first started my first podcast, and it was through work back 2014, 15-ish. And I would ask them, you know, I would watch their excitement level. How excited are they really? What do they really know about podcasts? Some of the questions I usually ask, what's your favorite podcast? And if someone kind of hesitates or hems and haws or doesn't really know, that kind of changes my approach into how much information I give them, if that makes sense, simply because, your time is valuable, Lita. My time is valuable, and their time is valuable. And if they're not really interested, all this information can even seem even more overwhelming and discourage them from even trying.
Yeah.
So if they can name one, even if it's just an ESPN, you know, oh, I like 30 for 30s, or I like Jalen and Jacoby, whatever it is, I know you're familiar with how to get to a podcast. That's the first thing. Once I know their familiarity level and how interested they really are, then I just talk to them about what they do. What do you want to talk about? What do you have as a topic or content that you feel like, let's keep it small, that you feel like your family and friends would want to hear? Don't think about trying to compete with, you know, Audible or I can't think of any of the companies off the top of my head now, but any of those companies that have big podcasts, you're not. And if you do that, you will definitely give up in your first 2 or 3 episodes. What do your friends and family want to hear, or your customers? And put that content out there. And are you okay with it being just one person that benefits from it? If you're okay with one person benefiting from it, then you're good to go, and we'll kind of go from there.
You know, I really love that you say that, because that's one thing I always want to talk about is finding your why. Like even under my Natural Me brand, right? It's always about what is your why, what's important to you. I talk about that with clients, and that's exactly what you're saying, right? You know, I think to your point, when people think about a podcast, you know, they might think about some of the really big ones that are out there. And so they're measuring where they're starting to where they see some of these larger ones that have these huge platforms. And like you're saying, if that's what you're thinking your goal is, you might get intimidated because it's going to take a minute to get, more than a minute to get to that level, right? But like you said, think about your why. If this is another platform that you want to reach people, you have an important message, like you said, or you have clients or different things that it's like, this is important to reach as many people as I can with my message and information, then I can see how that would be an awesome way to kind of start off.
Absolutely. And that just to come back, because I wanted to, you know, kind of save myself there after saying, if you don't know podcasts, then I won't talk to you. But, and I couldn't think of one, but the company that really always gets me excited when I hear a new series they have is a company called Wondery. And Wondery has millions of dollars behind them. They have professional engineers behind them. They have, you know, celebrities that'll do voiceovers or tell stories. So my idea of being Wondery is like a dream, but then I would need sponsors and time, and this will have to be my full-time job. So again, try to find where your lane is, and do you enjoy just giving information away in the beginning for free? If you're okay with that, or just for fun, and you know what that fun's going to be, you should definitely go for it. Definitely.
Wow. I love it. I love it. And to those that are joining, welcome. Definitely, if you have questions, we are talking about starting a podcast. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments. We will definitely try to make sure we're getting that. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, still put your questions in the comments or message me, because we will have Donnie back if it is not answered tonight. So,
one more thing, Miss Lita. The fact that, well, okay, if you don't mind, and I want to show this to show how much passion Lita has for what she does. All right, Lita, if you don't mind, and if you don't, you can say, you can make up a number. But how many people right now are watching live?
I don't really. It looks like about 5 people have joined.
Boom, there you go.
Yes.
So if Lita is going to continue pushing through with only 5 people, she's taking time away from her husband, taking time away from, you know, whatever she does, watching Law and Order. I don't know what you do, Lita, but then it's because you want to do this. You want to be a part of this. So kudos to you, Lita, because again, you don't have 150 people, 200 people watching right now. You have a small audience and you think it's valuable and you want to share it. So that's the kind of energy you should have if you truly want to do a podcast successfully.
Absolutely. And that's an awesome point. Again, that's something that, you know, I always like, even when we talk about just social media. So those that are members and know that we have an actual weekly content planning session every Sunday for members only. And it's really just to kind of create the space to work on your social media content for the week. And one of the things that I always talk about, you know, we hit, you know, again, another question, people are like, well, tell me more about algorithms and how can I get, you know, viral and all this. And I always tell people, go back to what your reason is for doing this. Now, if you want to be a major influencer and get paid for branding and things like that, then yes, numbers do play a different role for you. But if you're really passionate about your message and you're trying to inspire people and reach people, don't get hung up on numbers. The right people are going to pay attention to your message and they will get it, and then they will share. I've gotten so many clients and customers and things like that from one person sharing their experience and telling someone else about it.
Yep.
So to your point, provide value and provide the best of you, and don't worry about all the other stuff and the numbers and being large and huge and all that good stuff.
Yep.
So with that said, okay, that's number one. If you want to start a podcast, think about your why. What would be the second thing that you would suggest if someone wants to start a podcast?
After someone tells me their why, and when I started my second little, side project series, my why, I had to just think about how consistent am I really going to be with this? Mm-hmm. Is because of anything, whether you have 1 million followers or you have 2 and that's your mom and dad following you, seriously, if you are consistent with when you drop your material, no matter what it takes, if you are up all night, if you really care about it, you have to drop it at the same time every week. And I'm saying it's a weekly podcast.